Welcome. We are here. We're back. It's Voorhees Tiger Vision. It has been a little while since we've been able to get together, but I'm happy and I'm excited to have everybody with us tonight. We got a great show lined up. But before we get going, I'll just ask, hey, Coach, good to see you. How
Yeah,
are you feeling?
I'm finally healthy again, so that's a great thing. For those who don't know, we had a little flu bug run through our team right before Thanksgiving. And any of you who checked out the Faulkner game, Coach Williams did a great job leading our guys down to Alabama. Fought hard, came up short, but I had to sit out for what right after homecoming game, so probably about Sunday to Thursday, man, I was out. And then that flu bug started running through our team, man. So I'm blessed and happy that our team is healthy again, and had probably our best practice of the year today. So
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, for that Faulkner game, you weren't even allowed to travel with the team, right?
not allowed to travel with the team. People don't understand that the flu bug that's going around gives you symptoms, uh, similar to COVID. And I tested negative 5 times between that time, but you know, our nurse, we thank her so much, but she thought it was best. And as you can see, even though I wasn't around those guys, because I think I may have been the first to catch it, or right around one of the first people to catch it. That thing went through us, man. I mean, we had guys that were battling a little over Thanksgiving, and you know, finally getting back healthy now, and we're excited about it, man. We played Claflin on November 20th with 7, 8 guys, man. Really no post presence at all. A bunch of guards and wings, and we battled, man. We hung in there. And even a couple of those guys were feeling it a little, but they just hung in there and played regardless. So
That's good to hear. I'm glad everybody's getting, back health. That I feel like that's been the theme of the year, right? Of getting
yeah,
this team together in full strength.
right, right. And then if anybody's been paying attention to college basketball, it's running through college basketball right now. I think it went through, back in my home state, Georgia Tech went through it. They only had, I think, like 6 or 7 guys that could play one night. You've seen a couple other teams having to cancel some games because of it. So it is definitely, that flu bug is definitely out there.
For sure. And speaking for somebody who has had the flu 2 years in a row, I never want it again. It is the worst.
Hey, when I tell you it knocked me on my butt, it did not feel good.
Man, listen, that reminds me I probably need to get a flu shot this year. I had never had a flu shot, and I kept bragging about the fact that I had never had a flu shot and never had the flu, and I got it back to back, and everything hurts, and you can't eat anything. Um,
Yeah,
Not fun.
yeah.
Um, I'm glad that everybody's back. I'm certainly glad that you're healthy. Um, we've had to face some adversity
Yep.
early on in the season. How's the temperament of the team? How's everybody feeling?
Man, when we went on break for Thanksgiving, I told those guys basically the first quarter of the season's over with. We can't do anything about it. We're 0-0 right now. Everything that we've dealt with is going to make us better. Um, we've been right there in some games. The one thing you would never say about these guys is they're going to play hard to the whistle blows, to the
For sure.
horn goes off, and they've done that no matter how many times. I've told them, put it on myself. Um, we were on the road a lot, man. We had a NBA schedule, and maybe I was a little overzealous. I can take the blame, for that. Uh, we essentially early in the season, uh, 11 games in 21 days, if you include scrimmage, exhibitions, everything. Like that's a lot, and not
Yep.
a lot of home games. Like traveling inside of that, so that
Mhm.
was a lot, man. And then you add on to the fact we caught the flu at the end part of that. So I'm just excited, man, that we get back to a little sense of normalcy of when we have games and getting able to just practice. Like this week has been great. 3 straight days of practice so far, man. Like we hadn't had that since early before we started playing games. Um, and I think that's why we probably had our best day of practice so far of all season today.
Yeah.
So I mean, a lot of coaches I'll take the blame for that, man. So you know, you live and you learn, of how to schedule. There are 3 things I think when you become a head coach that are very important to winning. It's your staff, it's recruiting, and it's scheduling. And probably the first part of this season, I dropped the ball with scheduling part, but we'll get better from it.
For sure, definitely challenging. We talked about that a lot too, coming into this season. How challenging and how tough that schedule was. We talk about having guys like South Florida on the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was really a tough test early. But I kind of saw some of the things that you were just talking about how much fight was in this team,
Mm-hmm.
right? And how close some of these games were. Attended the Truett McConnell game that
Mm-hmm.
was right down to the last possession. I mean, literally the last shot
Yep.
of the game. We will not talk about the officiating in that game. I don't want to get anybody in trouble, including myself. Um, but went down to the last possession. We had an open look. We had, actually probably down the stretch, two great possessions of
Mm-hmm.
getting exactly what we wanted, and we just couldn't get the ball to go down.
Yep.
So sometimes that happens, but I'm looking at some other games. The Clinton College game. We're talking about a 5 point game there. Even the Middle Georgia State, we're talking about a 6 point game there. Coach, what are you seeing in some of these games from this team, and when it comes to just really learning how to go ahead and finish and win some of these games?
It's little things, man, and that's what we've been trying to stress and get better at. Little things of you think it comes down to the last possession, but in reality, it's a possession early in the game that we didn't reverse the ball from one side of the floor to the other to get a great shot, or we're not doing what we're supposed to do, guarding our yard defensively, or one of the big things that has hurt us this year so far has been offensive rebounding. Like we're giving up too many offensive rebounds. So those are things that we're really trying to key on about. Making sure we have better ball reversal, making sure we get the ball from one side of the floor to the next, that we're really having great, communication defensively, that we're guarding our yard, that we're playing our principles, and we're better on the boards, man. I mean, you know, when we do those things, we're a tough team to beat. It was funny because when I was out and I had a chance to watch the game from the other side of the view, like I'm a viewer and watching it on TV, and
Hmm.
the Faulkner commentator, they meet with the staff of Faulkner before the game to talk about the team they're playing. And it was interesting. And I actually told my team this. They said they had no idea why our record was like that, right? And I agree with them in a way because we are talented. But the other side of that says we have to do more of the little things to get victories. And I think our guys understand that, and we're getting better at that.
I do want to ask if in practice today, you said best practice of the year so far today. What were some of the things that you saw in practice that made it that way?
Attention to detail, ball reversals, the competitiveness. I'm not saying we haven't had competitiveness all year, but just how we had it, how we picked each other up if there was a mistake, how we communicated. Those things were so evident today. And we had three different teams, and we were doing some stuff where it was continuous going down and back, and we were working on defense. We were working on what we're supposed to do offensively, and guys were really getting after it, man. And it was really great to see. Um, how much better and how much in tune they were today. And I think everybody when we got in our circle in the paint after practice, everybody felt it. Everybody felt how great today was.
Awesome, awesome. You touched on the rebounding part as something that we needed to shore up. That
Mm-hmm.
was also an issue with us last year
Mm-hmm.
as far as rebounding the basketball. Are we looking to are guys itching, kind of are chomping at the bit to pace, and push, or what do you feel like the issue is?
That's some of it. Then some of it is just a little toughness factor. And I told guys we got to get tougher. Like we're expecting because we're bigger this year. All the big guys got it. So we sometimes we're leaking out a little too early, and it takes all five to rebound. And Coach Jay is a really big stickler on this. Let those big guys really pin those guys back, and the ball drops, and our guards should be our leading rebounders because our bigs have done their job, and we just got to be better at going to get it. Like just go get the rebound, man. Like just go get it. That's toughness. That's want to, and we're getting better. When we do it, it's interesting on how well we can do it. So it's just a want to factor right now.
Gotcha, gotcha. That is one thing that I see even at the high school level that a lot of people don't understand. Also, that rebounding can get you in the game,
Yeah,
right? Can get you into the flow of the game because it gives you another opportunity to touch the basketball without having to take a shot. So
yep,
I always tell young players, hey man, having problems with your shot falling, go try to get every rebound and watch you'll start feeling better. Um,
correct.
I definitely think we're a dangerous team if we can get that problem corrected. Coach, do you feel like that is something that I've seen guys work really hard and become better shooters. I've seen guys become better ball handlers. Is that something that you feel like you can develop with a team to get a team to be better rebounding the basketball?
I do, man. I just think it's whatever you stress and whatever you're doing, you just whatever you emphasize is what's going to happen. So we as a staff had to go back and emphasize a little bit more of what we wanted as far as rebounding. So it may require more drills, which we did, but it also requires that want to, like we talked about. And so we challenge guys, like we've got to be better on the boards. Um, and I think some guys will begin to step up and take that challenge. And part of the reason is if we don't get it done in practice, they know what happens. There's a board that's no matter what the drill, we gave up this many offensive rebounds, so you know what's going to happen. Let's get after it. Let's do it. So we gave up 2 offensive rebounds in that drill. We on the line.
Got to do it.
Yeah,
Got to do it. I agree. I think that if anything is the only kind of weakness that I've seen in our team to correct, and it's scary about how good we can be once we get that thing corrected. Um, I could definitely see I guess the reason why I would not panic, and I'll ask you how you feel about it, is because we faced adversity early in the season last year,
correct.
and look how we turned it around and how that turned out. Do you get the same type of feeling from this year's group?
I think we definitely needed that mental and physical break. And once we came back, there was a rejuvenation. I told those guys, refresh, refocus, re-energize, and they did that. And so no, there is no panic. There's just how can we fix it? And I think everybody from players to managers to assistant coaches to myself, we're all in this thing together, and we're trying to fix it, and we want to fix it, and we will fix it. And that's been evident in our practices since we've been back. Like nobody is taking a day off to say, "Oh man, whatever." They're ready. They're itching to fix this thing because um, we know who we are and what we can be, and
Mhm.
what we've been. If you talk about last year, but it's not last year, so we've got to make sure we do the right things this year.
For sure, for sure. No doubt in my mind that we'll get it done, um, and get this thing turned around, and those close losses will turn into victories uh, here shortly. Um, Coach, do we want to shout out anybody that's been doing especially well in practice or having a good start to the season? As you said, first quarter of the season.
Uh, Definitely, Taiwan Bowie has really been what we expected and more. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, he may be, if you're looking at, analytics, not just his numbers, but he's been doing everything and more that we've asked for. Probably our best defender. So definitely want to shout him out, but really want to shout out one of our freshmen, man. A lot of times we just think it's basketball related and what happens on the floor. Um, but when you're around guys, we have guys that go through things personally. So I want to shout out our freshman and his family, Troy McCant, and what he's been through and getting him back and making sure he's okay. Just want to shout him out, man. And he had a really good practice today, too. So I just wanted to shout him out.
Good stuff. Good stuff. 100%. We talked about some of the things that we need to improve on, but what are some of the things that you've seen that have gone really well in this first quarter of the season?
Man, when we left for Thanksgiving break, we were I think we were 13th. I know Jay's my analytics guy. He has this stuff down pat. We were 13th out of, didn't matter what division we were talking now. Division one, two, three, NAI. We were 13th in 3-point percentage, uh, right around 39, 40%. but people play games during Thanksgiving week, so I think we're still top 30. But being top 30 in all of basketball and 3-point percentage, we spend a lot of time on shooting. Obviously, that's what we look for in recruiting. So that's been a big thing for us, how we shoot the ball from there. Uh, we're scoring the ball pretty good. I think plus 72 a game, 72 points a game, even though we wanted to be higher than that. We just got to defend better, man. I think that's when you're scoring 72, you don't want to be giving up 72, or more. So
For
that's one
sure.
of the big things. And part of that comes from making sure we rebound the basketball. But those are two of the things that I've really been impressed with is our pace and how we're scoring it and how we're shooting the ball from three.
Awesome. Awesome. Um, that pace is do you think that the pace is a product of I'm sorry, that some of the defensive concerns that you have is just a product of the pace, and that guys will eventually kind of settle in and be able to pick it up on that end of the floor as well? Or is it something else you think?
I think it's knowing personnel, really, diving into that scouting report and
Mm,
trusting the person, your teammate. Like a lot of times players will say, well, this is gonna happen. You got to trust your teammate behind you. And if you have your brother's back and you just do your job, guard your yard. What is our defense saying we're supposed to do in this situation? We'll be fine. A lot of that comes with communication, and a lot of that comes with learning each other. Yes, we bring 8 guys back from last year. We also brought in 8 guys. So,
right.
and meshing those guys together and all that, it takes time, and we're getting there. We're getting there.
Awesome. Awesome. That's great to hear. Um, as you know, Coach, I always like to ask you questions just about the basketball landscape in general, and the position that you are afforded to be in, that you earn the right to be in, is a great position as a African American head college coach. Um, uh, the we always talk about the percentage of those coaches versus the percentage of African Americans playing the game. And I feel like we've seen some steps forward in this area, though we're not where we want to be yet. I'll toss it out to you early. Just any thoughts on where you feel like we are as far as giving uh, uh, African American coaches that opportunity to be head coaches.
I think it's definitely better than it has been, but it still needs to improve. Um, that's why I'm just so grateful and blessed for the opportunity I have, and I don't take this position lightly. And I'm always trying to help others get to that position, whether it's college or high school or whatever the place may be. I think it's we don't understand how important it is for these young men or women, depending on what side you coach on, to see us. Whether you're an African American female coach or you're an African American male coach, I think it's really big, and we have to continue to show that we can do more than just play the game. We can do more than just recruit the athletes that can play the game, but we can actually coach and be technicians at what we do and really run programs. That code word we talk about, CEO. I look at Robert Jones. I look at Penny Collins. I look at Conzo Martin. I look at Penny Hardaway, and I can keep going down the list. Or whether it's Don Staley, on the women's side, or Joni Taylor at Georgia, and I can keep going on. I look at those people, and you understand how every time they step out on the court, it's a representation of how we can continue to get better in this business about representing ourselves and doing the right thing.
For sure. Um, Going to the women's side of the game, right there in South Carolina, where we are, Don Staley signed a pretty historic contract.
Mm-hmm.
Um, got a 7-year contract at the University of South Carolina for 22.4 million. Um, the largest such contract in women's basketball college history for a black head coach. Um, I do want to celebrate Don really quick, but I want to ask this question: At how far are we away from getting past the like when I look at this last line, richest in women's basketball history for a black head coach. When do we get past that part of it? Right? When will someone as accomplished as Don Staley just be able to sign the richest contract in women's college basketball history? Period. When will we get past that?
Um, that's a question that I think is bigger than basketball. So I can't really answer that. When we get past um, the differences that we have in this world of justice and love for whomever, no matter what your race, creed, color, background is. So I think that just goes to us continuing to better this world that we live in, this country that we live in, uh, to understand that the color of your skin doesn't matter, that we're all equal. We can all do the same things with the same amount of credibility. Um, but if I'm talking about Don, like that's so huge, man. Like
It
I
is.
don't think people understand and how big that is, not just for women's basketball, but for African American coaches. Like that's a
Absolutely.
huge accomplishment. And for someone
Absolutely.
like myself who remembers her playing at the University of Virginia, remembers her playing USA basketball, her time for playing professionally, to her getting into the game as a coach, like
Yes.
she has become, even on the women's side, she is not. She's not a women's basketball. She's a basketball coach,
Yes.
and she's one of those coaches that we look at in a matter of John Thompson, who we lost, or in a
Yes.
matter of John Chaney. You know, like, and I think that's really important. And we've got to give her flowers now, and not wait till it's 20 years down the road.
I 100% agree. Don Staley is somebody that I've viewed as a great leader ever since I first saw her play.
Yeah,
Right, my introduction to Don Staley was not in college; it was playing on the Olympic team, and is in my top five personally. Just me has always been in my top five of my favorite basketball players ever. Right beside Isaiah Lord Thomas as
mm-hmm.
my two favorite point guards ever. Um, just her passion for the game. She's somebody I've seen as to me. She's just been an absolute leader from day one.
Yep.
So it does not shock me that she's had an extreme amount of success at University of South Carolina. Um, I'd be lying to say that her contract doesn't shock me because it does. Because sometimes it doesn't matter how good you are at something. Um, I'm shocked, but I'm thrilled to see that they rewarded her for all of her hard work and the success she's had at University of South Carolina. Um, and I think, and you touched on this, I think it is big for basketball as a whole. I think it does mean something
Yeah.
for every coach. And then what she did and just showed a huge amount of humility as far as sending all the um, head coaches on the women's side a piece of the net. Can you talk about that a little bit? Just people don't understand the camaraderie that you guys have as coaches sometimes.
I think people just see when the lights come on, they see it on ESPN or on our YouTube channel when the game comes on, but they don't understand our job is 24/7 almost.
Hmm.
Um, it's not just about the X's and O's.
Hmm.
And so when you get in this thing, you have people that understand it, who have been through those battles with you, against you. It doesn't matter, and they understand the the difficulties of being an African American basketball coach, especially at the high major level in Division One.
Hmm.
It shows her humility, but it also shows her respect and reverence for the struggles, but also the victories that we all go through when we sit in the chair of being the head coach. And that was total respect, total humility, and saying it's not just about me, it's about all of us. And that's what she did by giving that piece of the net So it was African American, coaches on the women's side. Huge, huge. It was big.
I thought when I saw it, I thought of Barack Obama. He said, "A rising tide lifts all boats." I
Yep.
never, I I struggled with that at times. Right,
Mhm.
sometimes that is a hard pill to swallow, but her gesture there, to me, served as a perfect reminder of that. Is that for some, Huff, your victories are a victory for us all. Don's victories, Coach Lanier, Georgia State,
Mhm.
Amir at Kennesaw State, Oklahoma State, right, Missouri. You know, when we win,
And,
right?
and I think we've got to understand that if we want this to improve, then we as African American coaches have to continue to help each other. And whatever that way of help means, could be picking up a phone and calling, reaching out. It could be something as simple as, you know, we love these exhibitions when you're not a Division I team or opportunity to play a Division I or a Division II school, because we know that helps that program. So, case in point, you brought up two names, Amir at Kennesaw State and Rob at Georgia State. They didn't have to play Voorhees. They did not. We're not
Right,
a Georgia school,
right.
but they understand what that does, you know,
Yep.
to help our program, and not just financially for people that don't, but to help it, period, to help us reach out to a kid who never knew who Voorhees College was and say, that's the school I want to go to.
For sure.
Or if
For
they
sure.
see that bus riding down 20 going to Atlanta to play one of those schools, man, what's I've never heard of Voorhees College. Let me look that up. So those little things matter.
Coach, I'll ask you another question, and we didn't, plan to kind of take this trip for this conversation, but um, do you think that we took the John Thompson, John Chaney, Nolan Richardson? Did we take that era for granted because we had not just head coaches; they didn't just have a job. We're talking about basketball giants, right, in their time.
Mhm.
Do you think that we took that for granted because we went through, and maybe I'm viewing history wrong, but I feel like we went through a drought after that.
Not necessarily a drought, but I think the difference is that you had guys of that stature who stayed at places so long.
Mhm.
And I think that drought has become the nature of coaching, period, no matter whether professionally or in collegiate ranks. I mean, he's not African American, but this is Coach K's last year. Is Coach K, if it was now and he has the first 3 to 4 seasons he had at Duke, does he make it?
No.
And I'm not saying, yes, you've got to win ball games, you got to do the right thing, you got to
Mhm.
have control of your program. All those things matter.
True.
But I think we went through this period where it was all about wins. It was all about,
Mm.
and if you couldn't get it done quickly, they were getting you out. And I think we didn't spend enough time as African American coaches really understanding what the BCA was then, the Black Coaches Association, because a lot of money became involved. Um, we were doing a little bit better than we had been before, and
Hmm.
we stopped with the attitude of help, if that makes sense. Not saying we weren't. I
Yeah.
mean, we were helping each other behind the scenes, but we weren't getting together as African American coaches to really help young coaches who want to get in this game understand what it takes. That you're gonna have to start off small to get somewhere. You may have to be a GA. You may have to go work at an NAIA, go work at a D2 as an assistant or whatever the case may be, and work your way up. And I think that sense of entitlement even worked its way into the coaching round, where I played this game and sometimes at the highest level, at Division I or even professionally. So I'm supposed to coach. I'm supposed to get that opportunity. And that sense of entitlement probably hurt us a little bit as African American coaches.
I would love for us to get back to that level for people who weren't watching college basketball then, man. It was a great time.
And I think
It was a great time.
the unfortunate situations that happen during COVID, George Floyd. The list goes on.
Yes.
We can keep naming a bunch of them. Breonna Taylor, like we can name whoever.
Yeah.
I think that allowed us to really understand again what needed to be done um, to help this situation, not just in basketball and coaching, but in the world. So I think that has happened, and I think you've seen it, whether it's from the Embrace Us group that we are a part of, or any of the other organizations that have come about during this time um, with coaches. Like I think it was a first time coaches really got to connect with one another again, and I don't mean a coaching clinic where coaches, let me see you like really connect
Mm-hmm.
with each other again, and it was much needed.
100% agree. I love to see it. Um, I think we need that balance, right? And as you mentioned, Coach K retiring. Well, here we are. We're losing another giant.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, I remember the day that Bobby Knight left Indiana, and the hole that it left in that program. UCLA still trying to figure it out without John Wooden, even though they've had some success. But I just say that to say, hey, let's not take anybody for granted. When you've got a good thing, um, you've got to enjoy it every day, because whether it's retirement or whether it's people decide to go in a different direction, I never thought I would see the day. And shout out to Indiana, shout out to Yasir. But growing up in that area when Bobby Knight left, I never thought I would see the day that Indiana basketball wasn't top tier. And we had a time period where Indiana basketball was not top tier. So guys, don't take it for granted, regardless of what program that you're in. Don't think that you can just replace and refill. You can't always do that. Appreciate the coaches that you have, and appreciate people who are building something special. So
And to build something takes time. Like the more and more administrators and people, fans, and realize that like you've got to build a foundation. Like, and especially if we're talking about programs that haven't been successful. Like, I'll tell people, Coach Mitchell did a great job, right? Like we, but there's some programs you can walk into and you start from scratch. Like, but you got to set that foundation of what you really want. And there's some programs you can come in and all it is a tweak. But whatever it is, man, African American, Caucasian, whatever ethnicity, like allow people to have a chance to build. Because when you do, you can really build something special at these places. And we've seen that when places are allowed to build, you can. I mean, what was it? 2 years ago, Virginia won the national championship.
yes,
The year before, we were talking about them losing in the first round as a 1 seed, right?
yes, got to build it. Got to build it. Another African American head coach just got his highest rated commitment that he's had in the program. Kevin Keats at NC State just got Robert Dillingham to commit there to NC State. So he's been given some time. So I think it will pay dividends. Good coaches that are graduating their players, doing the right thing, help migrate young men into men, are great services to the community. So shout out to Don Staley and everybody else that is in that grind. That certainly is one, but we appreciate everybody for doing what they do.
No doubt.
Um, Coach, we're going to shift gears a little bit and talk about some recruiting. We're going to talk about some recruiting a little bit and just kind of talk about some of the things as far as what it takes to receive an offer. You talked about bringing in 8 guys, but what does it take at the next 8 that are the next set of guys that you may be looking to bring in? What does it take to get?
But we're always talking about, can you pass the test of these four things? Obviously you want talented players. Do they give you maximum energy? Because, we talk about our 4 E's all the time: energy, enthusiasm, effort, and execution. So they've got to have that energy. Are they skilled? We love skilled players. And the last one, man, has that toughness thing really matters. It really does. Because everybody's going to face adversity. Are you tough enough to fight through it? Are you tough enough to turn the grapes that are stepped on into wine? And so those are the 4 things we're really looking at, to when we step out there and recruit. And Coach Jay and I were talking about it last night as we were out at a JUCO game. And we were watching, man, and talking to another college coach who was there, and just talking about things that we're looking for, and how has that changed over the years. That last one, that toughness part, when we were growing up, I don't think that would have been part of what you were looking for, because I hate to say it, but maybe it was tougher because basketball was played a little bit differently.
Yes.
But now we look for that. Toughness is almost a skill, just like your motor is a skill. And we have to make sure we look for that and find those guys who have it.
100%. Kids don't play enough 21, Coach. They're not tough because you don't play 21.
All I say is that I just remember growing up as a young kid, and if I got picked to be on that team, because we're talking about playing in the park or at running shoots, which was back in the day, and you the young guy, better play defense and rebound, because if it wasn't a wide open layup, you better not shoot that basketball, right? That was number one. But number 2 was, you better impact winning, because if you lost, I don't know when you were getting back on the floor.
Gotta wait. We interviewed a coach on the women's side that actually said her team plays 21 as a part of like practice. And that's how they work on blocking out, because if you lose, you run. So they play 21, and yeah, hey, you know how it is. You get the 19, everybody on the floor is guarding you, you're pushing. So I thought that was interesting. She said, yeah, that's how, some days we'll start practice. You got to play 21, and everybody that loses is running. She'll split them up into, of course, not the whole team, but split them up into groups of like 5 or so. And yeah, y'all gotta play 21.
It's funny, man. I told my group, I think it was yesterday, I said, you do realize sometimes coaches just get on you just to get on you, because they want to see how tough you are. Like, you may have done nothing wrong.
How you gonna respond?
Yeah.
For sure. That's interesting. Toughness being a skill, playing hard is a skill. It's crazy. That stuff was a given.
And then, this is what, we want to recruit players that have that work ethic. Character means so much to us, because about our culture. Again, we come back to that toughness part, and then we come back to academics, because academics is really big for us. We want to be the highest rated academic team on campus. And so basically what we want is we want to recruit players that want to become us, not the other way around. And that means they want to be a Voorhees Tiger. They want to be in little old Denmark, South Carolina. They know exactly what we have to offer, and what we're trying to do as far as our culture and our attitude. So work ethic, character, academics, and toughness.
All that goes into, I think we've got a announcement for our next Tiger.
Definitely excited. Coach Jay did a great job with recruiting this young man, Omari Bryson, a 6'2" guard from Northwestern High School in Rock Hill, South Carolina. He actually just won MVP of the Holiday Hoops Fest tournament that they had here in South Carolina over the Thanksgiving break. But a shooter, man. And I remember the first time Coach Jay calls me. He says, Coach, I found somebody. I said, well, what? He said, I might have found our Adam Flagler. That's a lot to say right there.
Heck of a compliment, yes.
But, my ears start going, huh? He said, "Man, he shoots it so well." And I'm going to tell this story, and this will make a lot of people laugh, especially if we have any college coaches that are listening. So this summer we go out to Rock Hill, and it was my time to see the kid play. And if you've ever been to out recruiting, sometimes other college coaches just talk, right? Nothing against it. They haven't seen you in a while, or they're trying to just. One college, I was supposed to be watching Amari Bryson, and coach taught me to death. And I didn't get to see the kid play. He was lighting it up, and Coach Day is mad at me. He don't want to talk to me on the ride back because the kid done played well, and I didn't even get to see it. So then we have a league camp. Something happened with Amari. He couldn't come. So, man, coach is mad. I'm not. I wish he would put a comment in his thing and say, "Man, I was." So, but long story short, finally get a chance to see the kid, and I was not disappointed. And the kid is great. He's gonna be great for our program. Really love that he committed to us and committed to us early. Like we're not shy to say we want guys that we recruit that are high school seniors to commit to us early. And I know that means you have to say maybe if something better comes along, I'm going to stick with it. But it's something that we really try to do in our program.
Gotcha. I love that you got another South Carolina kid too.
Oh man, Coach Jay has been busting it on these South Carolina kids, and I love them for it, man. And we see, I told you he was gonna make a comment.
This is, hey, Coach Jay. I've witnessed it. It is true. It is true. I'm shocked they're not asking for autographs, but everybody runs to us when he walks into the gym.
But yeah, I mean, South Carolina, again, we talk about that breadbasket that we want to have, and it starts inside South Carolina and putting a fence around it to get kids who technically speaking should be better than the NAIA level. We want to get those kids in South Carolina. Then we can reach out to, places that we can get to, whether it's Georgia or Florida or North Carolina.
100%. I love it. Shout out to Amari and his family. Great decision to become a Tiger. So I'm super excited. I've heard great things. I got that phone call as well, Coach, and I had to clean out my ears a little bit and say, "Huh? Did you say Flagler? Are you sure?" And no, said it with conviction.
That's funny we talk about because it's actually Adam Flagler's birthday today.
Is it?
Yeah.
Man, shout out to the guy, man, the young king. Got the key to the city, key to Duluth, jersey retired.
Hey, Coach Jay and I were just talking about that. That people don't understand how hard it is to get your jersey retired, man. Like that's a big thing because I think we saw another one. Coach Jay was telling me AJ White got his retired at Chattahoochee, I think this past week or yesterday or something. Like when Lincoln Kobe had it retired at St. Francis. But if you're out and you go to high schools, just notice how many jerseys are retired in that high school. It's not a lot. Most high schools is not a lot. I'll say that.
I had a player on my AAU team, Huff, tell me, and I'll let you guess off air who it was. He goes, "Dre, I ain't going nowhere. I want after what I got to do. I want my jersey retired. I don't never want nobody else to wear my number."
Huh.
And he's talking about for AAU. I'm not going nowhere. I want my jersey retired. What I got to do? I told him, "Hey man, go win a state championship. I'll retire your jersey."
And it's not just winning. Like I think that matters. Obviously, some people are all-time leading scorers at a school. Adam Flagler was. I think AJ White was. But sometimes it's even just more than that. Like I know with Adam, it was what he meant to that Duluth community.
Yes.
Off the court as well. But I remember this, and I might have said it on the show after I went and presented him with his jersey retired. But after it, as we were walking off the field, he told me, he said, when you had the opportunity to retire Kobe and Malik's jersey, in my mind, I said that's what I wanted to happen for me here. And that was the first time he had ever told me that. And that really hit home, like leaving a legacy. And we talk about it here at Voorhees,
Yeah.
talked about it where like you want to leave a legacy that's so much bigger than you because it's not just about you. Because to get your jersey retired, I don't think, and I could be wrong, you can score all these points, but if you're not doing the right thing in the school, if you're not winning ball games, they're probably not retiring that jersey. So it's about leaving a legacy that's bigger than you, where you can bring your family back and say, I was a part of that. Even as simple, like maybe you don't get a chance to leave, maybe you were just, part of a team that did it. But like when you think about guys that walk into our gymnasium here at Voorhees, guys that have won championships, and they see the picture of their team up there, man, that's huge, man. Like
Huge.
it could take, like when our guys came back for homecoming to get those rings,
I,
it was like a family reunion, brother.
I'll tell you when it hit for me. Talking to Da Lane,
Yeah.
and Da, he always glows about how well he was treated at the University of Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
So they treated me great. I love it. I still love it. I go back. He talks about going back there. So from that point on, right, when I came up to Voorhees campus, I looked at that trophy case and I'm telling the kids that I brought with me for elite camp, man, you want to be in here.
Yeah.
Right. You want your name to be on one of these trophies. You want a plaque with your name on it. You want something to when you come back to that school to say, hey, look at that banner right there. I was a part of that. Um, because it is great.
Yeah.
It's shocking to me how many high school kids don't think about that at all.
I mean, it's the moments that you have, high school, college, playing athletics, are moments that you will always remember. I
Yes.
mean, even as coaches, Coach Jay has coached a long time at different places. We can start talking stories that we just remember off the bat from, players or teams that we've been involved with. And I think that's what a lot of times players don't understand until after the fact. And I think sometimes that's what we miss when players kind of jump from place to place. And to each his own. I would never. I mean, we as college coaches get transfers too. So I'm not saying it, but what I'm saying is, if you can stay somewhere and build roots and fight through the adversity. I'm not playing as a freshman. I'm not playing well. Coach is on my behind. Whatever it is, and fight through it and get to that point where you're graduating and you're a senior. Like, I think that's what made, like, the guys I've had their jersey retired, Malik Beasley, Kobe Simmons, Adam Flagler, all 4 years at one spot.
For me, one of my favorite players ever at University of Louisville, Russ Smith,
Mm-hmm.
a record breaker, a record holder. You don't break Dewan Wheat's 3-point record
If you're
without
not
getting a
there.
lot of
Right.
buckets.
Right.
So for the kids that's listening and don't know who Dewan Wheat is at the University of Louisville, do your Googles. He was a McDonald's All American. But a McDonald's All American who was starting at the University of Louisville since his freshman year had his record broken by a 2-star athlete who walked on and didn't play as a freshman.
Man, that's what we talk about, fighting through adversity, man. Just go to our team. We talk about Hector Rosario goes from getting cut as a ninth grader to being an NAIA All American last year. Like, and there are so many more examples than just Hector. But we gotta fight. We gotta continue to teach our guys and our young women and all these athletes to continue to fight through adversity. That it's not going to always be peaches and cream. The same problem you're gonna have here could be the same problem you're gonna have if you go somewhere else. It does not change. Some of it does not change, and so we have to realize some of it's on us. And we've just got to be better.
Learn the lesson for sure.
Yep.
Learn that lesson. But coach, that's all I got. I know we got a game coming up.
Yep,
December
it's actually, Morris is kind of a rival of us, and but it's not played on either one of our campuses. It's a big HBCU kind of showcase at Claflin this coming Saturday, with us and Morris and Benedict and Claflin. That's the first year of them doing it, so it's just a great opportunity. They see some great HBCU basketball. We're glad to be a part of it. And if I could, I'll do a little not player. I hope they may not even be watching. They don't even know this yet. They get to rock the new.
Oh, hey yo, hey, that's clean. Hey, so that's what we wore into the game. Okay, Huff. So you're gonna get like 72 phone calls for those shorts. Oh,
So
I
it'll be
love
the
it.
first time. It'll be the first time they don't even know that they're in. I haven't said anything about it to the guys, and we're the home team. And so if they see it, they'll kind of know now if they were watching tonight. Um, but when Bryson brings these out when we get to that gym, they may think we had already won the game in the locker room before the game.
Hey, those are tough. Those are tough. I love it, man.
So continue to support Voorhees. As a matter of fact, honestly, I do want to say this. We had our the National Day of Giving yesterday, and we exceeded our goal as a as a school. We wanted to raise $125,000 because our school has been around 125 years, and we exceeded that goal by more than $125,000. So thank you to alumni, anybody who gave on our Day of Giving yesterday. We appreciate it. We thank you. Um, we're trying to do some great things here at Voorhees. Um, as you know, we'll eventually become Voorhees University next year. So just thank you. Continue to support this little old HBCU in little old Denmark, South Carolina, because it's really helping these students and our student athletes down here continue to take it to the next level of excellence, as our president, Dr. Ronnie Hopkins, says.
Outstanding. I love it. Um, I need to plan my next trip to Denmark because it rained and I didn't get a chance to see the museum.
You got to
So
see the museum, man.
I've got to go down and see the museum. But the last time that I went, they were about to walk over there
Yep.
and it rained and I walked right back inside the gym.
Yeah.
um,
You,
but
you, you'll get to see that old. You remember that old Chicago Bulls jersey, man.
yeah, the
We got
one
that
with
on display in the museum. Yeah.
I got some shoes to match that one too. Um, uh, but no, I appreciate everybody joining. What's the do we know the best way for people who are going to make the trip over to Claflin to get tickets, game
Go on
times?
there. If you go on their website, their athletic website, you can get tickets there. Because that's the only way you can purchase them is off their website, if I'm not mistaken. But it'll be a great day. I think they're having like a concert after the last game, which is Claflin men after Benedict men. I think they're having some symposium the day before. So it's really something big that Claflin's AD is doing.
Dave, we got to
But
come during the week, man. We got to come during
no,
the
no,
week. They
no, no, no,
close.
no, no. Yeah, it's got to come during the week if you want to get that spot. Now, if you want to get the other spot, you got to come on the weekend. The other spot that you went to, Dre, Cliff Seafood.
Oh, that was good too. That was good too. Um, maybe we can go on a Friday and then stay Saturday and then do both. We'll figure it out.
And we got a
Dave's my
lot of
man.
home. We got a lot of home games in January, February. So you have plenty of opportunity.
That's perfect. That is perfect. Let's go pack it out. Let's go
Yeah.
pack it out. I hope everybody goes over. Let's get some tickets. Um, will we have streaming? Do we know?
I think, excuse me, Claflin has a streaming option. You may have to pay. I don't know for sure.
Hmm.
But it is a streaming option. I just don't know if you have to pay or not.
Awesome. Let's go pack it out. Huff, before we go, do you want to shout out And one thing that people don't talk about enough, your coaching tree is pretty good. Do you want to shout out and wish anybody luck? Any congratulations? You got a couple coaches
So
that
I
hit some
got,
milestones.
man. So now you get me in trouble, man. Because if I forget somebody, they gonna be mad at me.
This is not planned. This is not a planned topic. We're talking off the cuff. You know,
So number one, let's um, really excited. Coach Moultrie at Hillgrove High School got his 200th win.
big milestone.
Salute to
Congrats.
you, brother. You've been grinding hard. Obviously in a new spot now, but you've been grinding hard for it. Shout out to Marcus Spivey, man. First career W at Thurl High School. And he's got more than just one so far now, but he got that first one. He always remember that one. Hopefully you kept the ball, and I hope you did. I didn't keep the ball for my first one, so I hope you did, Marcus. But really shouting out him. Antoine Stroud, I think is 4-0, 5-0 starting the season out. And Jordan, I mean, when I tell you, they ain't even close. Like it's he whipping tail.
He breaks all people over there. He is. He is.
Want to shout out to obviously James Madison, Coach Byington, and that crew up there. They've started the season off pretty good up there. Obviously, I had a chance to work with him at Georgia Southern. And Montez Robinson, who's doing some stuff with HBCU basketball and trying to help, get HBCU basketball rolling, who I used to work for at Alcorn State. Trying to see if I'm leaving anybody else out, man. Congrats to Reggie Anderson, who was the assistant coach at Young Harris, but is now assistant AD at Young Harris.
Go Reggie.
If you know anything about Young Harris and us getting Reggie Anderson as assistant AD there, that's totally big time. Huge.
Caitlin, they knocked off a Division
They
One.
knocked off a Division One team. Caitlin Benedict at Salisbury, Mo Williams and that group, they knocked off a Division One opponent. Doing great things. I really think she's a rising star in this business, and
she's gonna be so good, man.
And getting great tutelage under Mo Williams. I think that's been really good. Obviously, Coach Mays has started off 2-0 with a young bunch at Holy Innocents. He got a freshman. That's all I'll say.
He got a dude. He's got a dude.
Yes, sir. He does. And if I forgot anybody else, but just know, charge it to my head, not my heart. Because everybody that I've ever worked for, you guys have definitely played a part of me getting to sit in this chair that I'm in right now. And I'm just so thankful and grateful for the opportunity to learn and work with each one of you the time that we did. Because relationships matter. And the more we understand that relationships matter, it's really huge. Shout out to Hype South, man. Had a great event down in Warner Robins. I know maybe I'm not supposed to say that, but well.
Get say whatever you want, man. It's okay. It's okay.
But I just think these times of the year are great, man. Thanksgiving, Christmas. It's great for us as college coaches, man, because it's our opportunity to go see a lot of games, see a lot of coaching brethren, see a lot of players. So don't hesitate. If you haven't sent me something about, or Coach Williams something about a tournament, South Carolina, Georgia, wherever, we try to get there, man. Sometimes we spread ourselves thin. We try to get there to see as much as we can see in terms of basketball.
For sure. Great time of the year. I can't wait. I think we've got some other stuff coming up here in Georgia. I'll be out. The fellows will be out. I think we got Hawks Naismith coming up here soon. We've got some stuff at Wheeler coming up here soon. So, man, wonderful time for basketball. So, but we'll be checking in soon. We got a couple of games coming up. We'll be able to see our guys on the floor again after this break, December 4th, like we said, coming up as we head into the second quarter of the schedule. And hoping we can get everything on the right track, and let's go get a win on Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate everybody joining, man. Love you guys. Thanks for hanging in. This is Voorhees Tiger Vision. We're out.